Now, welcome to HASSDISCUSSES. We're here with Matteo Rossi.
How you guys doing? It's good to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you. I found you. I was on. I'm a big fan of Tyrone Magnus, and he was
Yeah,
talking about how he acted in or produced Chase, and I was like, oh snap, what's this Chase movie about? And it was probably about that was summer of 2019, and I
yep.
watched it, and I was like, this guy's got a style, and I mess with it. And I kind
Uh,
of followed you on Twitter. Very motivational Twitter. If you want some motivation,
Thank you, man. Well, you know
you.
what? With Twitter, there's just so much negativity. There's so much argument between people. People get all political that I want to use my platform and actually promote kind of positive motivational stuff about just career life, just doing what you love, because we need a lot more of that. We need less arguing and negative and like all that crap. And we need just more like people doing what they love and just like, surrounding yourself with good people. Just that's how I see it.
Yeah, I got a really good quote from you. You either
Yeah.
wait or create.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
that's a great one right there.
That's
Example of your motivational stuff, and I like that. Yeah.
Well, thank you, man. It's true because we can make excuse after excuse about why we should wait. It's not the right time to try something, to do something. I mean, even look what you're doing, man. You got a great podcast. Like you're applying yourself to that, you know, and I can tell you the backstory. I've known Tyrone for a little over 5 years now,
Yeah.
and we linked up because, to be honest, I loved some of the stuff that he said. He reacts a lot on YouTube, but every now and then, he'll do a little video talking about his life, his career, how he got to where he is, dealing with trolls, dealing with
Yeah.
negativity. And I'm like, shit, man, this guy and I are on the same point with this. He obviously has a bigger following than me, but like I have a big enough following to know that, there's always going to be those sad people that are just they just want to get off on just tearing people down, tearing your
That's what
work.
Twitter is, And but the thing is, I sadly do it, and it's mainly because I'm defending someone. We feel like we're defending someone, when really we just want to mess with somebody. We're
Yeah.
inherently trying to tribalize ourselves and be like, "Yo, I'm a Drake fan, so if you're a Pusha T fan, I hate you." Like just stuff like
I,
that. So
but
stupid stuff like that.
about worse stuff where somebody really has bad intentions and trying to like break you down or trying to go after you, tear it up, whatever, like for no reason other than just either jealousy or they don't like where you are in their career and they don't like where they are in their career and that type of shit. I mean, it's the same thing like Tyrone's talked about, where it's like people are saying, oh, Tyrone's not a real this and that. How is he successful? Like, why go that way, man? Just be proud of him. Just be happy for him. Like, Tyrone is honestly one of the most chill people ever. Like I would
Yeah.
endorse the hell out of him. Like he's just a real person. Seriously. And you can tell that in his videos. He's real, and like even though I haven't met her in person, like Scarlo, his girlfriend's awesome. Like she's totally sweet.
Yeah,
Like I
usually
just
when YouTubers put their girlfriends in videos, it's like not interesting. But with him, like they're chilling. Like it's an interesting dynamic, and I mess with them because like he doesn't always react to videos. Like he does his old little water fasting videos, and yeah,
like it's again like even imitating like the Predator thing or whatever, the Predator movie with her that he did a
yeah,
couple days ago is funny. So no, I mean we need more people like that, to be honest, man. Just like people that love what they do, are chill about it, none of that drama crap, and just like they're just we're just trying to create content. That's what I try to do with my movies. I just try to create movies that I think people want to see and that I enjoy doing
yeah.
you know
And also like on Twitter, you'd post like a little 5 minute video about like an audition advice. Like if you're an actor or an actress and someone shows up to an audition, you give little tips about from a director's standpoint, and yeah, that's
Yeah.
more interesting stuff too as well. Yeah.
No, I'm good because a lot of people have questions. I would say that probably in terms of my Twitter, more than half, probably 75% are people like in the film business or the entertainment business, whether it's like actors, writers, whatever. So they want to hear a lot of this stuff, you know, because I've been doing this. I'm going to age myself. I've been doing this for, it's going to be 14 years next month. Can you believe that?
Damn.
I started in December of '06 doing film, which is insane. You know, but I started at 19. I started really young, man. You know, and I knew what I wanted to do, and I've been doing it since. And has it been tough sometimes? Hell yeah, it has. But I couldn't see myself doing anything else. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You know?
And you
Yeah.
seem like, and what's cool about like the whole interaction motivation thing is you can see people in the comments. They're like,
Yeah.
your comments aren't toxic. They're like, just submitted my short film to this festival. Like, fucking hey, that's what I want to hear about. I don't want to hear about yeah. It's just we need
Oh,
to have more
it's
positive
um,
energy, and I mess with that. So yeah,
it's funny because there was a picture that I posted. What was it? A month or two ago, where I was down at this place called Long Beach at night, and I was holding a mask, but I didn't have it on. And I had one person just trying to troll me, like, "Why did you have somebody take a picture of you during a pandemic?" And people came to my aid. Like, people defended the fuck out of me. They were like, "Dude, there's nobody around. It's at night. It's outdoors. Like, chill." Some people on Twitter, they want to fight. They literally want to argue dumb as shit. And thankfully, like, my followers are very protective over me. Like, you know, because again, most of the shit that I post is very pure, man. It's not really controversial. It's not trying to be provocative. It's just, dude, here's some stuff about my films. Here's some stuff about what I think is advice that's helped me, and that's it. So I'd say one out of every like 100 posts, I'll get somebody that says some shit like that. And I usually just ignore it. I don't say anything. And a lot of the followers just come in and just say, dude, like, lay off him. Like, why are you trying to pick a fight? Like,
yeah,
like, take your energy somewhere else. Take your time somewhere else. So that's kind of cool.
yeah. So obviously your following comes from the films, and what I've noticed about your films is you like writing about messed up people, and I mean that in the most fascinating way possible,
Yeah.
because you want to bring sort of humanity and dive into someone that could possibly have a huge stigma to their profession or behavior. Why write about really messed up people? Why what's the fascination with that? I'd like to hear that.
Well, it's funny because I've worked. I don't know if you actually saw the trailer to Shadows. Tyrone actually posted it on his channel, but that's my next feature that will be released next year. You can even look up whenever we're done. Just Google Shadows trailer, and it's on Tyrone's channel. But I just, first of all, I like to write about characters that have crosses that they have to bear, people that are messed up and all that. And I feel like, well, first of all, like, Breaking Bad's a good example. Like, I love that show, Breaking Bad. Love even Game of Thrones, and it's like not everything's black and white or gray. Most things are like you got a little bit of good, a little bit of bad, vice versa. But like the movies that somebody's 100% good or 100% bad, that shit bores me because that's not true life. We need those. Like Walter White, he you can argue he's a villain, he's doing messed up stuff, but then you can also see why he does it. And that's what I just find interesting. Again, anti-hero, vigilante, all of that. So like I just want to do stories like that. Again, I'm a product of, like, I love Scorsese films, so whether it's like Goodfellas, Casino, but I also like, I know he didn't do it, like Carlito's Way, Scarface, like
The whole
Godfather.
70s, 80s, 90s, the
Totally.
hard boiled, character
So,
pieces around
yeah. And
criminals.
and
Yeah.
yeah, those films are all about the character development, who they are. And it's like these characters are so interesting to me. Like, you saw Chase, I had some people who saw Chase that, without giving too much away, that I actually kind of felt bad for the Ares character too. Like, he was messed up, he was evil all the way, but you kind of felt bad for him too. That, like, he felt like he was um, losing his best friend and his kind of best
Yes.
protege. Like, I don't know. I just like to do films like that. I love to mix some action in there. I love to mix some violence in there. You know, and we know Tarantino, Fincher, all of that type of stuff. Little Nolan, Aronofsky, all of those, all the Kubrick, all those big boys. Those are the ones that speak to me, and those are the things that
Tarantino
I
right
like.
there.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
and we got
Exactly.
it. And the thing is about I'm gonna dive into Chase and also sort of what you're getting at is that
Yeah.
like Chase is sort of like guy wants to be with his family, stop being like the whole mercenary type of guy, and he's really into some messed up things, but he's mainly doing it because he's loyal to his friends. So he's really the characters don't know who to be loyal to, the audience doesn't know who to be loyal to, and they don't know who's the villain or the bad guy. So you like to write about characters who they're the villains to themselves and to others, and that really messes with the audience's perception of who is loyal to each other or who to be loyal to watching. You don't want to make a movie where there's a root where you're supposed to be rooting for someone. You don't like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, you saw it. Chase has a lot of bad qualities about him. I mean, the people that he's killed, the everything, like the fact that he's so from everything and he can just do it and he enjoys doing it. Chase is not a saint either. I mean, just because he has, his girlfriend, adopted kid, all of that, that doesn't mean anything. He has a lot of bad qualities about him. So when you are watching, you're right. You're just like, who who is the person that's kind of the most pure, and it's hard to say. I mean, you could say the girlfriend, but she sticks with him the whole bit. So I love the audience to question, all right, like, all these characters have their problems, like, I'm just seeing a really messed up story about it, but it's also kind of entertaining, and I still want to know what happens.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yeah, it's
So, so yeah, that's with my film Shadows.
yes.
Uh,
Hype me up about that. I've been hype about it. What's the distribution? When's it coming out? I mean, you can obviously look this shit up, but like, let's hear from you.
I'm gonna be released soon. It's definitely gonna be released next year, 2021. Shadows is my best film, to be honest with you, man. That's the best film that I've done in my entire career. I think that, and I'm proud of Chase. Chase to me is the best film that's currently released that I've made. But Shadows, in terms of story, scope, everything, it was my biggest budget film. Okay, so that was cool too. But it's a mix of Terminator 2 without the sci-fi element.
Ooh.
It's a mixture of, again, a little bit of professional, a little bit of like Narcos, a little bit of Breaking Bad too. It's a mix of a lot of that stuff. We got drugs, we got family, we got all of this. We got a shitload of action. So there's that, and then of course the handler, which Tyrone's in. Tyrone's actually in Shadows too, but Tyrone has a little bit of a bigger role in the handler. So he's in both of those films. The handler is kind of non-stop action, popcorn flick. You're gonna kick your feet up and just enjoy. That is my throwback to 80s and 90s action films. That is my throwback to Commando, to Die Hard, to Under Siege, to all of those
I
type
have a
of.
list of films that you watched in order to prepare for the Henry. You
Oh yeah,
said John Wick, True Romance, Hard Boiled, The Raid. You know, so you're
yeah.
mainly inspired from the action of these films. Is that what you're getting at?
That is what yes. So, The Handler is the film of mine that has the highest body count, which means The Handler
Oh,
is oh yeah, it's crazy. I think that there's something like, if I broke it down with what the total runtime is to that, I think that one person gets killed and a half in the film or something like that. Like, it's insane, or something like that. It's a lot of it's some creative depths. It's some shooting. We got guns blazing. We got all of this type
I
of
don't
stuff.
know which one to be more excited for. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I review movies, so like I'm definitely gonna check it out. That's how I originally. That's why I wanted to check out the Chase movies, because like I reviewed it on my channel like 1.5 years ago. I think Tyrone commented, which was like at the time I was like, holy shit, because I was like 3 months into doing movie reviews, and now I've gotten into interviews as well because it's fun to interact with what I critique. You know, because there's a point to critiquing where it's kind of like you don't. It's interesting to talk with the people that you critique, but like I don't want to sound like I'm right. I'm not right about everything. There's no right or wrong when it comes to film. It's just like discussions with a bunch of people that you're putting in front of people.
Totally. Once the film's out, even though I created it's the film that I make, it's up to the audience to decide what they liked, what they didn't like, what they enjoyed, everything. We actually shot Chase in 18 days. 18 days, that's it. And it was an awesome set. I actually, little kind of interesting story. I met up with Aries and Damien, who play Chase and Miles. I met up a bunch of times before. We would grab lunch, we would just talk, and they really built like this bond before. And then it was the same thing a little bit with Jessica and Damien, the girlfriend Blair and Chase. They just hit it off, and I think that's what made the performances better, because like they felt like they knew each other so much more. And that's what you got to do. It's like if you meet somebody on set for the first time and you get into it, like you got to build that up. So it was awesome. Like I loved working with all of them. Like it was a really positive set. And then of course I told Tyrone about, hey, you want to jump on board as one of the producers, and he was down for it. And like I said, I mean, Tyrone, I live in LA. He lives in New Jersey right now. And
Cherry Hill, I
Tyrone,
believe.
Yep, yeah.
That's really real close, like 45 minutes for me.
Oh, that's close to where you're
I'm in
at
Delaware.
Too. Okay, nice. Yeah. And no, it was like, even for the handler, he flew out. He flew out to shoot it from New Jersey. So that was awesome. And we shot the handler in late July, early August of this year, because I told myself I still got to make a film. I know all the crazy shit that's going on, but I have to get it done. I have to stay productive.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. The handler was fun. The main guy in it, Chris Levine, he's great. Like I've worked with him a lot before too. Chris is great. Actually a fight choreographer on the handler worked on the Taken film.
With Liam. Shit. Liam Neeson.
He did the European unit when they were filming in Europe. He did that, and like, so he was training, he was doing all of that with everybody. Like we got badass. Not to give too much away, but I got an 8-minute nonstop fighting scene, literally, where two people are going at it, just fighting, and it's freaking, like trust me, you're gonna be very excited for it.
Speaking of training, though, you got into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
You did?
You did.
Oh, me? Oh, with some of my kicks and all of that?
Yeah, I just saw that, and I was like, interesting, man. You know?
I try to just have fun with it. Like, that was actually the person holding it with the fight choreographer, and he was kind of training about how to do it. And like, I liked it, you know, in terms of stance, all of that shit. I didn't realize that I could kick that high, but that was kind of fun, man. That was fun. I got to do more of that. So no, but you know, again, film is my passion. Film is the number one thing that I love to do. Like directing is the number one thing out of all this stuff. Directing's number one, then writing, then producing. So that's the order.
Because producing is the most economic business. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Producing is a lot of just paperwork, logistics, boring stuff that has to be done. But like directing is working with my actors, working with my crew, like creatively, just like making the story. Like it was so fun on the Hammer. We used a lot of practical stuff. We used the dust balls. We used like we had a shitload of different weapons. Actually, we had all types of weapons in that film. We had an Uzi, AK-47, M16, AR-15, a shitload of handguns, silencer, knives. Like I'm serious. We went commando with that shit.
Nice, man. Yeah. So I got a question about your film Misogynist.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, back then,
Yeah,
5 years
back.
ago. Yeah, but anyway, so it deals with themes of men controlling women. What do you want to get out with this film? Like thematically and deep. What do you want to get out with this one?
That was actually my first feature film, and we actually shot it in 2013. And I just kind of wanted to tell a cautionary tale where it's like everybody, it's a mean spirited film, I admit it. And I think that there's actually like no real characters that have saving graces about it. And we shot that film in 7 days, seven. And I think I wanted to tell just this character piece about like just messed up, really messed up people, and like the dynamic of just people controlling other people. And it's not just men controlling women, it's men controlling men, it's women. Like it's more than just that. So I mean, it's a disturbing film, man, but it actually kind of well because of content and because of the poster and everything. But like I still sometimes look back and think like, how the hell did I make that film, man? Like a lot of people who know me know that I kind of have this calm disposition about myself. I'd like to think I'm a pretty nice dude, and I made this film that's so fucked up.
It's not your character.
It's is that my character?
No, it's not. I'm just saying it's not in your character. Is that what you're saying?
I could be far those people, but I think that's the cool thing about writing, because writing, you can think about the most messed up shit, and then at the end of the day you can, separate yourself. Like, again, are the people who did American History X neo-Nazis or anything? Of course not. But
No.
Right. You like stuff about fucked up stuff, and that's an amazing movie. So yeah, man, it's interesting, and I'm still proud of the film. I just think that I've evolved a lot as a filmmaker, both in scope and story and all of that. Like when you see Misogynist and then you see Chase, you can see that I've elevated myself, I think. That's at least what.
So I got a question about writing. Out of all, I've dabbled in writing a while. I wanted to be a filmmaker before I got into these interviews. I still love doing interviews, but bear with me. So I learned the most important aspect is revision and a million fucking drafts. That's like my favorite part. And I hated that, but now I realize it's probably something important, and a lot that I should be focusing on is re-looking at it, showing a million people that probably don't give a fuck my screenplay. Out of all of the feature films that you have written, maybe you could include short films, which had the most drafts?
It's a good question. To be honest with you, Misogynist had to be up there a bit, because I didn't know how far I could push it with how disturbing with everything. So there were times where I raised it up and then I toned it down, and I went back and forth just thinking about, okay, like this is my first feature film. This is what a lot of people are going to see of mine. And I knew that like I wanted this to be my first feature of many to come. So I'd say that one might be one of the top ones, just because I went back and forth in terms of the content, in terms of what I should show, what I should take out, all of that. So I agree with you though, doing revisions, just going back and forth, just really fine tuning a script is very important. And script isn't completely done until you're really filming it, because I sometimes give my actors freedom to improv to all of that. So the script is changing even when we're filming.
Mm.
You know?
Is that
Yeah.
complicating, or is it just like whatever? Like you got to change it, move on.
I'm used to it by now. I mean, it makes the script supervisor on set. It makes it a little difficult for them, but I try to cast now because I've built up my career that I like to work with actors that know how to do improv really well, that
Mm.
understand and listen to me and take direction well. Because that's what it's about. It's that mutual trust between director and actor. But the ones that I work with are really good with it. Yeah.
So I don't know. That just reminds me of I was watching footage of like The Shining, how they made The Shining, and like Jack Nicholson was like, I just remembered these 7 pages, and then Stanley changes it again. Was there even a point of doing that, or
Yep.
something like that?
Stanley Kubrick was like notorious for like not only being a perfectionist but sometimes being a complete dick to actors too. Like that Shelley Duvall, he's a real pain in the ass too apparently. And I've seen some of those clips too. But he's a genius. Like he knew what he wanted. Like you've probably seen those behind the scenes clips where like he's literally there with like the lens looking up at Jack Nicholson or like looking there. Like he was
Hands
a
on.
vision. Yeah, I mean, he knew exactly what he wanted. And I got total respect for that. I mean, I think some of the masters or geniuses must be a little bit eccentric or have a little something off about them because, like, I
Yeah.
don't know, is crazy. So you gotta be on a whole other level to come up with films like that.
I feel like
You
there's
know?
two different types of perfectionists, and this is what me and my buddies have been talking about. Is that there's like someone who's like fucking Christopher Nolan or Stanley Kubrick, and they'll have a million different like locations planned out, and they'll have like an angle from like 30,000 yards away or something like that, and then they'll have it zoom in from 30 different things. They already know how it's going to be edited where they're done. And then you got the Safdie brothers who just kind of go in the middle of New York City with like guerrilla style filmmaking, and like there's no extras. It's just like random civilians, and there's like Adam Sandler and Julia Fox screaming at each other, and it ends up being beautiful because it's so chaotic. So there's like those perfectly timed shits, and then there's like the ones that are like, fuck it, we're just gonna go in the middle of the city with no permit with Robert
Yeah,
Pattinson.
and both can work. I mean, it really depends on the director. And what was there was that other film that they did. Those directors
Good time.
of what was it, Hard Time or Real
Good
Time or
time.
excuse me, Good Time. And I really liked that film. That film was really good. So no, I mean it really depends. Like there were some scenes in Chase that we guerrilla styled that we did. There's that quick scene where they're coming out of the hospital. That was just a quick grab and go. So, indie film, you have to be very creative. You have to kind of be innovative with your thought process on how to get something. So yeah, there's no one right way. It really depends on what you're comfortable with and how to enact your vision, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I mean, even though the handler hasn't come out yet, I did see some information about a sequel. Are you gonna follow through, or was it just like something
No,
that kind of came up in your head?
without much away, like I'll say this, there definitely is more than enough story and room to do a kick-ass sequel. Yeah, to
Yeah.
do a badass sequel. So yeah, I mean, I'm not closing the door to that. I want to see how well commercially the handler does, and then sometimes they'll tell. Like for example, with the Terminator, the first one blew the hell up, and that kind of gave a green light to do Terminator 2.
Yeah.
So let me see how it goes. But yeah, I'm not closing that door at all. I don't know if you had a chance to see a couple of the screenshots that I posted of the color graded screenshots of the handler, but it's looking really good, man. It's looking really good.
Nice. I got it. Obviously, links to his social medias for the viewers and listeners, and they'll
Yeah.
check all that out. I got a couple more questions and all of that.
Go
So
for it.
I saw something you were working on IMDb. Loving the time of coronavirus. Tell me about how this project came to be.
Oh, that, to be honest with you, man, I just got brought on that like as a script like consultant or something. I don't even know that much about it, so we can just skip that.
Nah,
Like she added me to that, which is cool, but like I don't even know much about that. Like to be honest,
you're
like
just
I think
like, oh, here's a guy I know that writes. They were just like, here's a guy I know that writes. I'm gonna have him help out.
yes, essentially. Okay, I'll do, but I haven't heard from that project in a while or something, so I don't know what to say about that.
All right,
Yeah,
so this is a
yes.
really good question, and I really want you to think. You're able to travel back in time to be an extra in a film from the 70s. Which film would this be?
That is a good question. Um, Give me a second. Give me a
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
Uh, from the 70s. Um, Either The Godfather or The French Connection. One of those two. French Connection because I love that car chase scene in it. I don't know if you've seen that film, French Connection with Gene Hackman. It's an amazing film. And then The Godfather, just because, again, it's one of the greatest films ever made. Jaws would be interesting. That would be
It was just
interesting.
horribly. It was so like, it was so messy. Not no, like I love the movie. The movie's great, but no, I'm talking about like the way like the production was very like chaotic, from what I hear.
I want to be an extra at one of the beach scenes just to see how
Yes.
it is to see like a young Steven Spielberg at work, like what he was like. Because little did he know how much that was just gonna take him to the next level, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like after I couldn't. I mean, there is pretty decently popular movies prior to Jaws, but
right.
you ask our average person, they couldn't name a Steven Spielberg movie prior to Jaws. Like I me because I'm well versed on my films and stuff, I could say, what's the one Duel or something like that, or like that
And
some.
that was a concept too. I've seen that film. So he did that 4 years before. I think that he did that in 71, and he was young, man. He was only like what 25 when he did that film. That's impressive, but like it still was an awesome concept where it's like just this mysterious truck like stalking the shit out of somebody. Like that's awesome. So you knew he was going places, and then yeah, because I've posted about it. Like the first three Indiana Jones films, I love.
Yeah,
Uh,
really like
so
rewatchable. Like
I re yeah. Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade like are just amazing, man. You know.
hell yeah. So I got a this really good question coming up soon.
And they're
So what is special to you about the Shawshank Redemption?
um, it's just such a complete film. It just it's everything is on point with that film. How it's shot, the music, the acting, the story. It chronicles just a man who has been through so much shit, and he's still kind of, again, when he comes out clean the other side, and he still never gives up. He still never gives up. I mean, he's raped in jail, he's beaten, he goes through unspeakable things that most of us won't ever have to go through, thankfully, and he sticks with it. And you can call me an optimist, you can call me all that, and sometimes I'm not an optimist, but like the whole idea of just like hope and just he never gave up. And then the poetic justice of so many of these people, the bad people getting theirs. Karma's a bitch, and it's done so well. I assume obviously you've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, and I just like
That
one
and
of
the
my
Green
favorite.
Mile.
Yeah, so one of my favorite scenes, probably remember when they're all on the rooftop they're all on the rooftop and they're drinking the beer and all of that after that, like with the music, with Morgan Freeman's voiceover on it, it's just like that shit's poetry, man. Like it's just not to get all like sentimental or cheesy or anything, but like it's just it's fucking brilliant. And it's funny. I actually am friends with slash colleagues. He almost was in one of my films with the guy who plays Boggs. You know Boggs, the guy, the main guy who's the rapist in
Oh,
the
the fucked up guy, the weird guy. Yeah.
yeah, that gets his ass beaten like crazy uh, after or whatever. But you can look up Boggs. His name's Mark Ralston. And I asked him a lot of questions about the film. And yeah, it was awesome. I think that they do have something special on their hands.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude. Like it. What's cool about prison movies, like The
yeah,
Green Mile is another
right.
example. Is you're there trying to find light in like the darkest,
Dark,
disgusting places. You know what I mean? And the
yes.
and you have those happy moments like the librarian, doesn't he, like, and then he's happy he's gone, but then again, like, nobody's gonna treat you like a real fucking person after you've been in jail.
He's been in there way too
And
long,
then he
so
just hangs himself.
it's horrible. It's tragic, but yeah, no, it's an amazing film, man. So I just, every time I watch even some scenes from it, I'm reminded of how good it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Good question, though.
I got a couple questions before we wrap this up. The production of Vengeance,
Yeah.
I've been really anticipated for it, but I see you're probably working on the movies a bit more. Like, when's
It,
that gonna be coming out? And Tyrone's the
well,
lead guy in that. I think so. Yeah.
yeah, TV's a whole other animal. It's on hiatus right now. It's tough, dude. It's tough pitching to studios and doing all of that stuff. Like, I still would want to do it, but it's tough. So I would say it's on hold right now, but I'm definitely open to kicking it back up soon with Tyrone with that. Definitely, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, how'd you feel about Scary Stories That Tell in the Dark, the film?
But, dude, as a kid, I loved those, man. And I was just hanging out at my friend's place, and she had like a fucking blanket of that, and holy shit, this is the most amazing blanket I've ever seen. I'm like, dude, you have to take a picture with me holding that shit because this is like my childhood. I'm a product of the 90s. Like, this shit was very popular then. So, like, I loved it, and it was funny, man. I miss those times, man. They were simpler times. Think about even 5, 10 years ago, dude. Didn't things seem a lot more simple than I'll watch some like prank videos on YouTube or whatever it is, and like it's people like out and about, and it's freaking weird seeing that shit now. Like I think that
Yeah.
things are better, but like you seeing a shitload of people out, or Times Square, everybody's walking, or
I was
like the
just watching a
freaking
music video with it was like a Jack Harlow music video, and they were like in the middle of a parking lot, and there's like 100 people, and they're all like moshing against each other, and then there's Jackie Boy rapping in the front, and it's like, dude, what? Oh
I
my
miss it.
god.
We're gonna get back to it. Like I have no doubt. Like we can't,
Yeah.
as human beings, can't like just keep living like sheltered animals and stuff. I get it, but like when we do get back to it, man, it's gonna be fucking great. It's gonna be great. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm
Just
having my
going.
mentality that the whole fucking tough times breed tough people. Like, that whole the generation before the boomers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the whole Great Depression, there are probably some really like people that were born in the 40s and 30s,
Yes.
or who do they end up being? Your now Kubrick's was in the 20s, but he grew up. He was probably 5 years old when the whole depression thing. The Kubrick people, all those people grew up to be like these great people. I'm not saying people born in the 90s don't have anything. I'm just saying
No.
that when you grow through a tough experience at any age, it's gonna be something you're gonna have a
Tougher.
tougher skin.
Yes. I agree. So we'll see what happens, man. But I'm staying positive about it. I
Y-
mean, I don't want to, but 2021 can't be worse than 2020. It just can't. No way.
Yeah. And some people don't want it to end, and that just makes me
I know,
angry.
stupid, dude. It has to end. It has to end. There will be a time when, hopefully next year, where masks aren't required. You can go indoor places. You can meet up with a shitload of people and no one's going to be checking. Like, I'm just hoping because it can't continue this way. There's no way. People are too tired of it already. There's no way.
Okay, we got
You
three more
know?
questions that I feel like are really gonna wrap this up in the best faction. Cause like when I do my questions, I don't make them in an order. Like I just kind of have them spread out, and depending on where the
Oh,
conversation goes, I'm like, all right, this one's good. These three are beautiful. Okay.
I dig it. Let's hear it.
Since many people have called you the skinny Gerard Butler, have you ever reached out to Gerard to work on a film?
I'd love to work with Gerard Butler. I don't care if he's been in some bad films. I would love to. Um, I have not yet reached out to him, but I'm open to it. I think that my biggest platform is Twitter. And to be honest with you, and this isn't me tooting my own horn. It's fine. Like, who cares at the end of the day? But I actually have some pretty big people follow me on Twitter. And, I just think it's amazing, like, that they'll even kind of know who I am. So, yes, I would like to work with Gerard Butler. That would be amazing. He actually doesn't live too far from me.
Mm.
If I know, because I know that a few friends have seen him at this area that's not too far. I think he only lives about 10 minutes from me. But yes, I would like to work with him. He's on a short list of people I would like to work with in the future. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
That,
funny. Yeah, I had to ask that. That's just one of the funniest things I've seen today.
that's it as a compliment too. So hey, call me a skinny Gerard Butler. Like, I'm not turning that down. You
Yeah.
know.
So, what's your favorite film festival that you got a chance to go to?
Um, I like the Hollywood Real Film Festival. It's based actually in downtown LA at the ArcLight Theaters. That was an awesome one where they just have a big theater, and that's the one where Chase won Best Action Film, and that was an amazing experience. And I'll tell you, because of this pandemic, the number one thing that I miss actually is going to film festivals, going to theaters and those events because I love it. Like, Shadows has won a few awards, and if it wasn't for this damn pandemic, it would be in person. I'd be winning the award in
Doing the
person.
whole Q&A, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I miss the most, honestly. So I'd say Hollywood Real Film Festival. Yeah, my
Yeah.
favorite.
Speaking of film festivals, I checked out this like digital film festival where like you can submit your films and they'll have it on the website, similar like just basically like a free streaming website. And it's cool to
Yeah,
see that, but like
that is cool. I'm just old school where it's like I want in person, people in the theater for it, all of that. I miss that.
now like
You
I
know.
went to shit. I went to the this place that starts with an N and it's in LA. Frick. Some
Uh,
beach. No, damn. I don't know,
Manhattan,
but what?
Manhattan Beach, not Manhattan Beach.
It's
But
near.
what one of the things, one
Yeah,
of the
one of the
beach.
film festivals. I might be. It had the Tomorrow. I'm gonna Google this movie that I saw there with like John Lithgow. It's called the Tomorrow Man. I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't seen it, but yeah, it's good.
Oh, that was a great one.
That out, man. No,
He
but
got a yeah. Hold on.
yeah.
I'm just
Sorry,
looking
there's
it up.
air behind me that's killing me right now. Not to bitch about that.
But nah, like it was cool to see the whole Q&A type of thing. It was like my first film festival that I went to and
I,
stuff, and
I
it's really iconic to see the people that you're seeing on screen. They come out, and it's like, shoot, you're there.
it's humbling, man. It's definitely humbling. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So yeah. Sorry. Go on. Go on.
but like speaking of streaming services, which is what I was trying to get at, is like are you iffy on them? Like, what's your favorite one? Like, do you like, what do you think of the
Amazon.
whole like fucking Newport Beach, yeah, Newport Beach Film Festival. That was it. I love that film festival, dude.
That was a good one. That's a good film festival. Um, uh, and I love Newport Beach, by the way. But yeah, man, it's uh, streaming services. Like I love Amazon Prime for my films. That's the one that's the most popular in my films. But in terms of streaming, Netflix, HBO Go, all of that type of stuff. I'm cool with Hulu, Stars, all of that. So
Yeah.
I'm cool with all of them. I'm
Yeah.
cool with all.
All
You
right.
know,
So this is what we gotta end this one off with. What
sure.
do people overlook about filmmaking?
How long it takes, that the process is not over once you finish, that the post production, um, just realizing that it takes a long time, and that you have to be patient, but at the same time, don't wait forever. So, yeah, man, that's what I think. I think that you gotta just stick with it, stay positive, and stick with it. You know.
Outstanding.
So, I,
Outstanding
but
interview.
but this,
What?
I said this was great, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude. I feel like anybody that can be creative or wants to get a place in their life could really take something from this, and I just thank you, man. I'm gonna
dude.
tell you when I stop recording, and then we'll do a little outro thing. Links
Sure.
below to all his social medias and his IMDb page, trailers to his next films, and I'm hyped to see The Handler, man. I don't know. I feel like I'm a bit more excited for The Handler than Shadows, but I feel like both of them are
All
gonna
right.
be excellent.
It's action packed. You're gonna love it, man. You're gonna love it. So no, this was great, dude, and thank you for bringing me on board. Of course, man.
See you guys in the next video.